Cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Joe Oriani's podcast. My name is Joe Oriani, and I am having a special guest today. But before I do, I hope that you all enjoyed episode 2, talking to you about the national parks and different places other than Disney and Universal. The guest I have with me today, it was hard to get her on because I got the book Podcast for Dummies, and I asked 2,000 questions at like a job interview. But what interests me most about her is that she's going to be a nurse. And I find that absolutely fascinating with COVID. Really, people are just a pain in the neck like me. Last time I threatened to shoot a nurse. So that's really good. So anyway, I'd like to introduce you to Maddie. Maddie, I think I can pronounce your last name. Jonathan?
Johansson.
Okay. So Maddie is from California. She was actually, if I ain't mistaken, where in California were you born?
I was born in the East Bay area, so about 45 minutes east of San Francisco.
And you went to, and I know I'm gonna mess up this name, the high school. It's Carl Rondelet.
That's close. It's Crondelet.
Oh, okay. I've been practicing that all morning, and I still didn't
Yeah,
get it.
that was a lot of people mess it up a lot more than you did. So you're pretty close.
One of the things I'll say about Maddie before I get into what she wants to do is I have found Maddie to be very special. For her age group, she's ambitious, she's kind, she's generous, and she concentrates on what she's doing. She has a very good work ethic, which you don't see too often. So Maddie, how was high school? What made you want to go be a nurse?
When I have a cousin who's 12 years younger than me. And when she was born, at the hospital, I really liked the environment of like the labor and delivery section of the hospital. And I kind of decided, I was like, hey, like this would be really cool to like do with my, like use my life to like make people's, like it's a big moment when a baby is born in a family. And so I just think it would be really cool to help make it super special for everyone.
You want to be a pediatric nurse?
I want to be a labor and delivery nurse.
Oh, okay, that sounds interesting. So when did you decide all this?
So when my cousin was born, I'd never really like had experience at all in like in going to a hospital and seeing a baby be born, that I thought it was really cool. And so kind of from there, I started just thinking about it more, and I kept coming back to it. And so I was probably a sophomore in high school when I decided like, hey, like let's pursue nursing.
Well, any special reason you want to be that kind of nurse? Or you want to be, is that an RN status?
I'm going back and forth, but yeah, like, so I'm currently in school. I'm studying human development and family sciences. And so I'll get my bachelor's degree in that. And then I'll continue on and do a master's program. It'll be an accelerated program, and I'll get my master's in nursing.
I see you're studying at Nebraska Lincoln.
Yep.
Are you studying online? Are you doing online? Or are you actually going to campus?
I went to campus for the first few semesters, and then this past spring, I took the semester off to do the Disney College program. I did all of my classes ahead of time, so I'm not behind. And then this summer, I've done some classes, and in the fall, I'm going to move home for a little bit, but I'm still doing a full course load online.
So instead of going back to California, you're going to go to Nebraska?
I'm going to go to California for the fall, and then I'll be back in Nebraska in January.
Watch them tornadoes in Nebraska.
Yes.
So how do you like the campus? How'd you like the school?
I loved the school. It was definitely the right fit for me in terms of college. It's a lot slower paced. Like Nebraska in general is just like slower paced than California. It's a lot more casual, which I really liked. Like it's like people don't dress up to go to class at all. It's sweatshirts, t-shirts.
It's okay.
What?
It's okay. They don't go to class at all?
No, they do go to class. They just wear t-shirts and
No.
sweatshirts. And then
Okay.
game days are a lot of fun.
Have you belonged to any sororities or whatever they call them things? Any special activities you do?
Yeah, I'm in a sorority. I'm actually in the same sorority that my mom was in. So I'm a legacy. She went to a different school, and I'm pretty involved in my sorority. I still even though I'm far away, I'm still connected to all of them. And I plan to, even though I won't be in person in the fall, I plan to help as much as possible. And this past fall, I helped with plan our big philanthropy event.
And what about activities, such as any kind of sports you do at school, anything outside of studying all day?
Yeah, I
Volunteer?
did a leadership class, and so that was kind of like a club. So it was like it was a chance. I got a scholarship to do this. It was called the Chancellor's Leadership Class, and so it was a handful of us that were picked to get a scholarship to take this leadership class.
That's very interesting. See, I didn't know all this about you.
Hmm.
You were afraid I was going to talk about something else all day. No,
We could talk about whatever you want to talk about.
no, I'm not going to talk about pizzeria. Pizza burgers. No, I'm not going to do that.
I miss hearing me lovers at work.
Yeah, I sang it in my first podcast. Matter of
Mhm.
fact, I'm going to tell you a little secret between you, me, and the audience, because by the time this gets posted next week, everybody will know. I just had an interview with Disney.
Uh-huh.
Come back part-time,
Yay!
but nobody knows where.
Oh,
I have onboarding Friday at 8 o'clock. Then I got to wait
okay.
to the 15th and they'll tell me where I'm going. The only
Oh
other
my
person that
gosh.
knows is Chuck. So please keep that quiet so I know.
I will. Hopefully you get back to Pizza Rizzo. Is that what you want, or did you want to go somewhere else?
I want to be a seater at Mama's and disrupt them.
I think I think that they would agree with that.
So anyway, so what do you think when you go? You can be getting your bachelor's degree now. You're just a graduate.
Yeah,
You get
so
along to get
when I finish at University of Nebraska Lincoln, it'll be with a bachelor's in human development and family sciences, with actually a minor in sociology.
wow.
Yeah, and so I won't quite be a nurse yet. I'll still have to go do a little more school, but I'll go. There's a lot of accelerated programs throughout the country that you go to nursing school for a year and you come out of it with your master's, but you go into it with a different degree. Like, so it's these accelerated programs are made for people who already have a degree in another area, but that want to be nurses.
When I worked at Perth Amboy Hospital many years ago, they had a nursing school there, and they
Mhm.
would come into the hospital and work different areas. So I know I trained a couple in certain things, so it was a lot of fun. The girls were great,
Mhm.
especially if they went to the cafeteria. They set it up any way they wanted. It was good. It was a lot of fun. So that's a good idea. There's one in New Jersey, I think. Have you anything really thinking about with school? And
I'm looking at University of Nebraska has an amazing medical center. And so I am looking at continuing at Nebraska. I'm also looking at places closer to home in California. And then I also kind of am like, why not like move to Hawaii for a year and go to school in Hawaii? So I'm kind of looking everywhere.
you must be rich. I can afford
Just,
white. I can't afford white.
well, I mean, I've grown up affording California, so I'm kind of just used to that.
Good point. So if you're going to go to the medical center at Nebraska, do they have a nursing school?
Hmm. So originally my plan was to you can do 2 years of like prereq classes, like all the science classes, and then do 2 years of nursing. That was my original plan. So I would have started nursing school in the fall, but one of my classes didn't work out how I wanted it to work out. I got one letter grade below what I needed in
Ah,
order to get into the nursing school. So I switched my plans a bit, but I'm really excited that I did that because now I have the opportunity to go home for the fall And
I
I'll
know
still be in school, but
I know every time somebody talks to you about there, and not many people do, and I know that for a fact, talking about what you're going to do in the future. And when you said nursing, my eyes lit up. Because even in pediatric nursing, I think that's a very noble decision, a very good career move. But I don't know if I can handle all the babies, and then you got to be careful of all these diseases. And it just doesn't sound like too much fun to me.
yeah, I mean, I've grown like growing up, I've always loved kids. Before doing the Disney college program, I actually hadn't entirely worked a real job. I just babysat and nannied because I mean, I loved hanging out with the kids. And so it kind of always just made sense that I would do something in the future that involved kids.
Well, I'm sure maybe sooner or later you may have kids. If not, you can adopt them. So it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter. Adoption's
Yeah.
a good thing. I don't know what you considered. But anyway, I am so happy to get this information because I've been bugging you for 3 weeks. And poor Chuck.
I know he came to me yesterday in the break room and was like, I'm finally done. You're finally got it figured out.
Well, you know what made me want to have you here? When I said to you originally, I wanted you on it, I wasn't sure where I was going to go with it. But then I looked up your schooling on Facebook, and then I heard about nursing. I'm like, you'd be perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, Chuck was here for 4th of July with me and my wife, and I showed him episode 2, and he goes, that's not what I expected. He said, that's pretty good. Oh, thanks, Chuck. So,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
what you expected. Now, this particular episode will be probably broadcast next Wednesday.
Okay.
So if you want to get it, just and look at it. I am going to do some editing in the beginning so I can get the out of there.
Yeah.
Like we're talking.
Yeah.
Maybe remove some of that. But anyway, I'm very glad you did this. And I'm sorry that we bothered you so much, but I'm sure the audience will appreciate what you said because I still don't understand it. But I am so happy to have people like you who want to do nursing. Because nursing, the poor nurses, no matter whether they're ER nurses or anything else, they're so underrated. They're not appreciated as much as they should be. And pediatric nurses in particular, you don't hear about them.
Yeah.
You get lost in the nursery.
Yeah. They're kind of just, they're just there. They're there to help you. And I mean, I feel like that's kind of how cast members are sometimes. Like, I feel like a lot of times the guests will, like, you're just there. They don't really notice you, but cast members and nurses make all the difference.
You should learn from me. Make people notice you.
Yeah, true. I guess they always notice you, Joe.
Yeah. I miss you too, Maddie. But this isn't a love fest. This is a podcast. Anyway, so why did you take time off to be a CP anyway?
So my parents, my mom did the college program when she was in college.
Oh, did you?
She did it at Disneyland, and she did it for 2 summers. So she didn't do like during school. It was just over the summer. She did it 2 years. And one of her roommates that she had both summers, like they came back, like she still talks to her every day, like they're best friends. And then my dad, he worked at the Disney store. And so growing up, I just always wanted to work for Disney. But when I realized I wanted to be a nurse, it doesn't work out. Like Disney does have nurses, but it's not the kind of nurse I wanted to be. And so the college program just seemed like the right thing for me to get a chance to work for Disney and be a part of the company, and then continue on with my life and go be a nurse.
No, very good. Very good. Because I know some CPs, college people stay.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I met people that have engineering degrees that still work. They hand out pizzas, which boggles my mind. They say, well, I can't get a job, and that's not true. They're not looking. They don't want to leave. Nice, beautiful Florida.
Yeah, moving here, I was very much not excited to live in Florida.
Why?
Because I haven't had really much experience with humidity. But I realized that I've actually adapted to Florida more than I thought I would.
Well, you seem like the person that can just pretty good. You're very outgoing. You're very alert to other people's problems, and that's why you'll make a good nurse.
Yeah.
And you adapted well from the first day I met you. I thought you were doing fine. You always impressed me. You have always impressed me. I may not have told you that, but that's the truth. And I didn't say nothing bad to your parents when I met them. So, but again, Maddie, I want to thank you for coming. and spending your time with us. And I'll let you know when it's going to appear. And I know Maddie and I would both appreciate any donations to this podcast on all your local podcast stations, including YouTube, Apple Tunes, and Amazon. And enjoy the recordings and enjoy Maddie. Maddie, it's been actually fun. And if anybody wants to get hold of me, it's Oriani Joe 3 at Twitter and Joe Oriani Podcast, yahoo.com. Maddie, again, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Tell everybody I said hi.
I will. Have a good day, Joe.
Bye, Maddie.
Bye.
All right.